And guess what? The next president, they're going to be able to appoint a couple justices, and I'll be damned if they're not going to have it.
Welcome, everybody. I am thrilled to tell you that President Joe Biden is finally talking about the imminent Supreme Court disaster under Donald Trump. Now, I'm not going to take credit for this, even though last week I did a detailed segment about exactly the ways in which another 4 years for Trump means 2 Supreme Court picks and potentially Maga control of the Supreme Court through 2050. I know that there are Biden staffers that watch the show, but I'm not taking credit for this because so many people have been sounding the alarm about this. Here is Joe Biden yesterday in Philadelphia, and he is laying it out. What is at stake with the Supreme Court if Trump wins?
And overall, we appointed 200 black judges to the federal bench. And guess what? The next president, they're going to be able to appoint a couple justices, and I'll be damned if they're not going to have it. Look, if in fact we're able to change some of the justices when they retire and put in really progressive judges like we've always had, tell me that won't change your life when Trump justices are already gutting voting rights, overturning Roe, decimating affirmative action, and so much more. We're going to let that happen? We can't. No, we really can't.
So listen, we talked about this in 2016, and some people didn't care and some people didn't believe it. And we were right. We would have Roe v. Wade right now if Hillary Clinton had won in 2016. There's no way around it. And as I said last week, if Trump wins, Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito will realize they can retire. Trump will replace them with right wingers. And this will make it so that Trump will have chosen 5 out of the 9 Supreme Court justices. He will pick 2 justices that are young enough to be on the court a long time. Amy Coney Barrett's 52 right now. Neil Gorsuch is 56. Brett Kavanaugh's 59. If Trump gets 2 picks and picks people in their late 40s or early 50s, we could have 5 Trump picks on the Supreme Court, none older than 63 at the end of Trump's term. When you consider that Clarence Thomas is in his early 80s, you could be talking about 20 plus years of a MAGA court. We're going 2028, 2032, 2036, 2040, 2044, 2048. We could be talking about MAGA Supreme Court 2050. 2050. Even in 2044, Brett Kavanaugh would still be younger than Clarence Thomas is right now. Trump will have been long in heaven, Baruch Hashem, as I said last week, statistically, and we will still have a MAGA Supreme Court. So we really need to take this extraordinarily seriously. And there are people who I know it doesn't matter what I say. But if you're thinking about toying around with third party, or maybe I'll stay home, or what about Jill Stein or RFK, I can't tell you what you should care about and what your ethics and morality should be. But when I think about MAGA Supreme Court 2050, it's very quickly obvious, I can't mess around with any of this stuff. I can't take any action that's going to put Trump even a single vote closer to 2 more Supreme Court picks. Now, here's one extra clip from Joe Biden's speech in Philadelphia, which I thought was a very good speech overall.
Running again, and he's clearly unhinged. He calls insurrectionists who stormed the Capitol patriots. Patriots. If reelected, he wants to pardon, quote, every one of them. Let me ask you, what do you think he would have done on January 6th if black Americans had stormed it? Think about this. What do you think would have happened if black Americans had stormed the Capitol? I don't think he'd be talking about pardons. It's the same guy who wanted to tear gas you as you peacefully protested George Floyd's murder. The same guy who still calls the Central Park Five guilty, even though they were exonerated. He's that landlord who denies housing applications because of the color of your skin. He's that guy who won't say Black Lives Matter and invokes neo-Nazi Third Reich terms. We all remember Trump is the same guy who unleashed birthism, the birthism lie against Barack.
So listen, The Trump people, we may hear from a couple clips later on today, immediately saying, oh, this was a totally staged crowd and nobody there really supports Biden and there's no young people. And basically all the things that were true about Trump's rally in the Bronx, they wrongly said about Joe Biden's speech yesterday in Philadelphia. Now, as I said before, I don't know what's going to happen in November. It's up to us. What happens in November will be determined by what we do. But when I look at the crowd in Philadelphia yesterday, both in terms of racial diversity and young people, it certainly doesn't seem to me that all minorities are fleeing to Trump and all young people are fleeing to Trump. It certainly doesn't seem that way. So a very good speech from Biden in Philadelphia. I'm genuinely glad he's talking about the Supreme Court thing, even if many people really don't care about it. Or are telling themselves that it won't be that bad if Trump gets 2 Supreme Court picks. And then when Joe Biden was getting ready to depart Philadelphia, or maybe this was when he arrived, one of the dumbest questions we've ever heard from a reporter. I want to talk about that next. It is time to start thinking like voters and to make sure that kids understand the importance of voting, how it works, registering, ballot initiatives, because so many kids just have no idea. That's why I wrote the new children's book, Think Like a Voter. I can think of no better time and no more important group of folks to try to reach. The book is now available at davidpakman.com/book, where, by the way, you can get the first 2 books in the series as well. Think Like a Detective and Think Like a Scientist. Really important stuff. Donate them to local libraries, classrooms, read them with the kids. davidpakman.com/book.